Hello everyone, today we are going to continue with our learning about the Making Salts Required practical, and we are going to be focusing on the method. You will need a pen and a piece of paper, but you will also need one of the blank revision cards that were given out in your stationery packs. Because as well as understanding this method, you do have to memorise it to be able to answer the 6-mark question and get 4 marks. So let's start at the beginning. We are going to be making copper sulfate, and that requires the use of copper oxide and sulfuric acid. Copper oxide is insoluble. It is also harmful, it is corrosive, and it is dangerous to the environment. We're also going to be using sulfuric acid, which is harmful and corrosive. And for that reason, the very first thing you must do before starting this experiment is wear your goggles. So that's what we'd ask you to do in class, and that counts as the first part of your method. There are 4 stages, but to get full marks in the question, you will need to talk through these in more detail. Let's start with stage 1 of the experiment, where we have got to mix the sulfuric acid and excess copper oxide. We are going to use a measuring cylinder here to measure 25 ml of sulfuric acid, which we then pour into a beaker. Using a spatula, you're going to add 3 spatulas of copper oxide to the beaker. We are going to add, and this word is important, excess copper oxide. It is more than we need for the reaction. To make sure we get the best possible reaction, we're going to add in extra, or excess is the word you need to use, copper oxide. You're then going to use a stirring rod to stir that mixture. Stage 2. We have got a copper sulfate solution and unreacted copper oxide. So they're sitting in the beaker together, but they have not reacted yet. To make that reaction faster, we're going to use the Bunsen burner to heat up our mixture. Now, you need to heat this gently, and the key thing is that you do not allow the solution to boil. If you put that into your answer, you get extra marks for knowing that we are gently heating it and not allowing it to boil. And the reason for doing this is to make the reaction faster. Once you've done that, you're going to let your beaker cool down so it's safe to touch. You're going to set up your filter paper inside your filter funnel, and that is feeding into a conical flask. So you're going to pour the mixture through the filter funnel, and what you will be left with down here is a blue solution of copper sulfate. And this is what your blue solution looks like. So this is copper sulfate in solution, and what we need to do is get to the end point where we have got dry copper sulfate crystals. So to do that, you need to pour the solution into an evaporating basin. This sits above a beaker of water so that it can be gently heated up. It's a water bath which will heat the solution without causing any damage. You let it boil until the amount of solution has reduced by half. Then you turn the Bunsen burner off, you let it cool. You wouldn't touch either the tripod or the beaker or the dish until it was cool, and you leave it to dry. After 24 hours, you will get dry copper sulfate crystals. So take your time, pause the video, go back through those pictures until you think you have got a good idea of how the experiment works. Now, these are all the statements, 10 of them, which make up a perfect 6-mark answer. Okay, this is a perfect answer that you need to work through. The first task you need to do is put them into the right order. So 1 to 10 on your paper. You can go back through the video and have a look again and work out the correct order of these statements. Let's look at the answers. Number 1, you should have as put on safety goggles. Number 2, measure 25 mils of sulfuric acid and add it into the beaker. Number 3, add excess. Okay, you might want to underline or highlight that word to remember to put that in your answer. Excess copper oxide using a spatula. The equipment is important, it gets you more marks. Number 4, you're going to stir it with a stirring rod and use a Bunsen burner to heat gently for a minute. We've got some safety advice here. Do not let the mixture boil. That will get you more marks in your answer. Number 5, the reason why we do this is to speed up the reaction. Number 6, filter the mixture using a filter funnel and filter paper. 7, the filtrate will fall into a conical flask. 8, transfer the filtrate to an evaporating basin. Number 9, heat the solution in an evaporating basin until half the solution has evaporated. And number 10, remove and dry the crystals. Okay, so after your attempt, hopefully you've got that right. If you haven't, take this opportunity now to do a final correct version where you write all of the statements into the correct order. Because what we've got to achieve now is that you are able to memorize this, and without any help you can reproduce this answer by yourself. And there are lots of words and lots of parts, so it will take some time to get to the point where you can do it off the top of your head. This is what I would use to help you memorize your answer in class. So you can use this on your own at home or get someone else to help you to start to memorize the answer. So you take your perfect answer, you read through it a couple of times, you put it to one side, and then you use these 10 prompts to see how far you get memorizing your answer. If you get stuck on number 4, say, because 4 is quite a big one, take that opportunity to check your answer again and carry on going. And you need to repeat this process over and over again until you get to the point where you can confidently explain how to do this experiment to someone else. They have the card so that they can test you on your answer.